Hey everyone, it is Marie here from Skeins on day 2 of the Skeins Quarantine Diaries. Every day I'm going to try and come to you and just bring you what I'm up to, what I'm knitting, what we could be doing, hopefully inspire, hopefully drive you crazy, hopefully give you some ideas to get you through the next 4 weeks. And I have been on the phone today with wonderful Ethan Outlaw Yarns. We're going to get together definitely tomorrow morning, hopefully around 11 o'clock if technology behaves itself and all things go well. So do make sure you come in and tune in for that. But today I have been really good. I kept to my promise of yesterday, which was, and if you didn't catch up on yesterday's installment, what I spoke to yesterday is I am going to knit, there we go, the Rambler sweater, which is by Marcella Chang, and this is knitted in a 4-ply sport weight yarn. And so I cast it on this morning. I was very good, and this is where I'm at. I'm just literally on the last round of ribbing for the neck, and then I'm about to actually flip needles out and jump to a bigger needle. And there we go. Now I didn't actually, in the pattern, if you're going to knit this, in the pattern it actually has a 2.75mm needle for this neck portion. I didn't have one of those. Well, I did in 4 double DPNs, but I just really couldn't be asked working with DPNs, and I had this, which is a 3mm needle, which I'm magic looping because obviously it's, you know, not the size. One of the things I would say, there we go, with this is that because I'm using Southlander, which I've got left over from the pop crop cardigan that I did last year, the 3mm needle actually works quite well with this because it's quite sort of grippy and chunky and what have you. So I've got a 3mm that I'm using. I am using, as you can see, the magic loop. One of the things that when you cast on with this, because it's around, I think I cast on a couple of hundred. Oh, hold on, should we look it up? That would help, wouldn't it? I can't quite remember. I'm doing the X. Oh, there we go, 136 stitches, and it said to join in the round. Now I don't know about you guys, I hate joining in the round straight after a cast on. It's just a little pet peeve. Don't like it. Don't like doing it. It's just me. And so years ago, I read a piece of advice, and I think it was from Nikki Epstein. And Nikki Epstein suggested, she's an American designer, and she suggested that you actually knit a couple of rows of your project in the flat and then join it in the round, and you're less likely to twist your stitches and get a Mobius, and the stitches have had a chance to relax, because when you've cast on, and it doesn't matter how good your casting on method is, in this particular instance it's asked for a long tail cast on, that first row is always a little bit tight. It's a bit frigid, isn't it? So if you've worked a couple of rows and then you join in the round, it just is so much easier, more relaxed, and yeah, better really. So that's what I've done with that. So hopefully tomorrow's progress, you'll actually see that I'm a little bit further down the yoke on that, and we're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow with Ethan. We're going to talk about grippy yarns. We're going to talk about his Yeshu, which he's just finished, and Little Bandit, which is a yarn similar to this. So we've got lots of fun stuff to talk about here. And speaking of yarns of the thus, this morning over on the Speakeasy, the Skeins Speakeasy, gosh, tell you what, your ears must have been burning, Solange. Hello. She's baking hot cross buns. She's just saying, well, you, my darling, posted this up on the Speakeasy I saw this morning. Isn't that beautiful? And that's called the Carlina pullover. Now, Solange, tell me what you've put aside for this, because you said you've downloaded it and you've already put the yarn aside for it. So what have you put aside? This, and the reason I'm talking about this is it's in a 4-ply yarn similar to what we're using for the Rambler sweater. It's this lovely colour work, and I mean, can't you just see that in the cream and the charcoal that we're using? I mean, just there's so many possibilities with this. But what caught my eye, as Solange said in her post today, is this pattern is free until the 31st of March. So I think you guys definitely need to jump on and grab this. I'll put a link in fact, should we do it right now? I have the technology. I've been practicing. You'd be so proud of me. I've been practicing to try and make sure that I get all my technology sorted, because this is me. I'm not very good with the tech, and I've been so proud of myself that there we go. That I'm looking at attempting to make sure, oh yay, that I can get you these things when you need them. So I'm going to just drop this in here. Yes. Oh, I get there. It's slow, but I get there. Yeah, I think this is definitely worth a download before it jumps off the freebies. So what's everyone been up to today? Solange is baking hot cross buns. I did, what did I do today? I did spinach and feta pie today. I had a delivery this morning of the most incredible box of vegetables. So if you want to see what that looks like, if you go to Instagram, to my personal Instagram, which is just my surname, B-U-S-C-K-E, if you go and have a look there, I posted up this incredible, amazing box of veggies that arrived, ordered it yesterday, from the brand outlet. Now, the brand outlet is not a food and vegetable supplier normally. They're usually cosmetics and supplements. However, they have gone and converted they're actually a local company. They're based in Hastings, and they have gone and converted a lot of their networks that they have with a lot of providers and growers here in Hawke's Bay, and they've gone and pulled all of that to get stuff out to you guys effectively, and they've gone and created these incredible harvest boxes, and they're essentially, it's a fixed price box delivered to your door, which is just overloading with this incredible produce. And they're doing North Island, New Zealand, North Island deliveries at the moment. But if you're in the North Island, you can't get out, you're self-isolating, or you are in a position where you're not really feeling comfortable about going to the supermarket, or your supermarket's been a touch cheeky about what they're charging, go and check out the harvest boxes from Brand Outlet, because mine was fabulous. And in there, one of the things I had in there today was a huge big bag of fresh spinach. So I made sort of my version of a spinach and feta pie for lunch for Phil and I, and it was lovely, really yum. I'm doing a lot of cooking, I can tell you that right now, loads of cooking, which is good actually. I'm quite enjoying it. There's something I find very therapeutic, about just being able to plan a meal and slowly put it together. It just sort of helps me. It's very good. So that's what we had for lunch today. The kids are wanting, because it's Friday, so the kids, we're doing homemade burgers for tea. So if we can't get takeaways, we're bringing takeaways to us. So that's what we're doing with that. Yesterday, I mentioned the Shearers Pizza that I did for lunch yesterday, and I said that I would share that with you today. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to go and grab a pen and paper, because I'm not going to write this down and post this up. This is coming from the head. And I will run through what I did with that, because it's really easy. Trust me, super easy. So I'll give you a chance to go and do that. While you're doing that, one of the other things, if you're looking for things to entertain yourself with while you're away, or you're looking for things to read, one of the things I've been doing is going back through. Hey Virginia, Virginia, if you don't know the lovely Virginia, she has orange tail yarns. Many of you probably have those in your stashes, and also too, she comes and gives us a hand as well over at Skeins, don't you, Jins? What we have been doing is going back through, I've been going back through a lot of my old magazines, and in fact a lot of my magazines are at the shop, and a lot of my old knitting books and stuff. And when you don't look at things for a long time, you actually sometimes, I find I go back and go, oh wow, yeah, gosh, that was really good, or I like that design, or you can actually get inspired by some of those. So that's actually been quite fun. I've been really enjoying doing that. And there's something, I think, inherently comforting about going back to the things that we know and love, that you know, in a time that made us feel really good. And I know, Virginia, you're going to agree with this, because Virginia is a huge lover of music and the movies of the 1980s and 1990s. And again, if you have a look on my personal Instagram, you'll see I posted up this morning. Honestly, by 10 o'clock this morning, my husband and oldest son were sitting down, and Monty Python was found on Netflix, and it was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And I was thinking, wow, they busted that out, and it's only day 2. This is going to be a long quarantine. Not that I don't like Monty Python, but for me, Monty Python is, it's Monty Python. So yeah, and they were honestly cackling away like a pair of old women, the two of them, having a great time. I have to admit, for me, I would much rather go back and do sort of some of those classics. Like for me, I love Top Gun, I love Footloose, and actually I saw the Bourne movies are going to be on TV3 tonight. If you don't have a streaming service, they're a really great series of things. So what sort of series type things do you guys like to watch? Because I've got the boys and the husband, I am definitely seeing probably all the Star Wars films will be rocked out. But I insist on, I like to go chronological, even though we have to admit that episodes 4, 5, and 6 is where it's at. But yes, that will probably be dusted off in our house, I am picking, over the next 4 weeks. What else will we be doing in the next 4 weeks?